Intelligence has almost nothing to do with financial success, and that should bother you more than it does. We assume that smart people make smart financial decisions, that education leads to wealth, that if you understand how money works, you'll be able to make it work for you. But the data doesn't support that. Highly educated people go broke. People with advanced degrees live paycheck to paycheck. Professionals who understand investing theory. The first thing to understand is that intelligence doesn't neutralize psychological patterns. It often amplifies them. Smart people are better at rationalizing, better at constructing convincing explanations for why their behavior makes sense, better at finding intellectual justifications for emotional decisions. A financially anxious person with average intelligence might just overspend and feel vaguely guilty. A financially anxious person with high intelligence will overspend and construct an elaborate framework for why it was actually the rational choice. Psychologists call this motivated reasoning, the process of working backward from a desired conclusion to find evidence that supports it. And the smarter you are, the more sophisticated your motivated reasoning becomes. The intelligence that should help you make better financial decisions becomes the tool you use to justify the ones you were already going to make anyway. The brain isn't being used to find the truth. It's being used to defend against it. There are 5 specific reasons why intelligent people consistently underperform financially, and 4 of them have almost nothing to do with financial knowledge. They are psychological in origin, behavioral in expression, and almost always traceable to patterns that were established long before the person ever opened a book on personal finance. The first reason is analysis paralysis, and it hits intelligent people disproportionately hard. The more you understand about a financial decision, the more variables you can identify. The more variables you can identify, the more ways you can imagine it going wrong. The more ways you can imagine it going wrong, the harder it becomes to commit. So the smart person researches endlessly, reads every article, runs every scenario, and never actually invests, starts the business, or makes the move. Because there's always one more piece of information they need before they can be sure. The psychological root here is a specific form of perfectionism, the belief that with enough information, certainty becomes possible. It doesn't. Every financial decision involves irreducible uncertainty, but the intelligent person's mind keeps searching for the analysis that will eliminate the risk. The search itself becomes the activity. The decision never gets made, and while they're researching, the opportunity either passes or the problem compounds. The cost of not deciding is almost never factored into the analysis. The second reason is one of the most consistent findings in behavioral economics. Knowing the right answer and doing the right thing are governed by completely different systems in the brain. The logical, analytical mind can identify the correct financial behavior precisely, and then the emotional, automatic system, operating largely below conscious awareness, overrides it at the moment of decision. Smart people are often deeply confused by this. They know what they should do. They watch themselves not do it. They cannot explain the gap, because the gap isn't in their knowledge. It's between two systems that don't communicate the way they think they should. This is why someone can teach a masterclass on compound interest and still not be investing. Why a financial advisor can give perfect advice to clients and have a terrible personal balance sheet. The knowledge is real. The behavioral override is also real. And the intelligence that makes the knowledge sophisticated does nothing to prevent the override, because the override happens at a level that intelligence doesn't reach. The third reason is lifestyle inflation, and it targets intelligent, high-earning people with particular efficiency. As income rises, so does spending. The neighborhood, the car, the restaurants, the travel, all calibrate upward to match the new income level. The net wealth position barely changes. Sometimes it gets worse, because the expenses grow as fast as the income, and often faster. The person earns more than they ever imagined they would, and somehow they feel further behind than when they were earning less. The psychological driver underneath lifestyle inflation is social comparison, specifically the unconscious calibration of what a person at your income level is supposed to have. The intelligent person doesn't experience this as peer pressure, they experience it as reasonable upgrades. Each individual spending decision is justifiable. The pattern as a whole is quietly devastating. And because it happens gradually, it's almost never noticed until the income stops and the expenses don't. The fourth reason is the one that most people find hardest to accept. No amount of financial education can override a deeply embedded childhood belief about money. The neural pathways formed in early life around what money means, whether it's safe or dangerous, whether you deserve it, whether having it makes you different from the people you love, those pathways run at a level of the brain that formal education simply doesn't touch. A person can have an MBA in finance and still be unconsciously operating from the money beliefs they formed at age 7. If money in your household meant conflict, your educated adult brain may know exactly how to build wealth, while your unconscious system sabotages any sustained accumulation because wealth feels like the source of pain. If money meant love was conditional on performance, you may drive yourself to earn impressively and still never feel financially secure because the security was never about the number. If money was never discussed, you may be financially paralyzed not from lack of knowledge, but from the deep, unexamined belief that money is a territory you're not permitted to think about out loud. The education sits on top. The belief runs underneath. The belief almost always wins. The fifth reason is perhaps the most straightforward, but also the most consistently overlooked. Most intelligent, high-earning people confuse having a high income with being wealthy. They are not the same thing. Income is a flow. Wealth is a store. A high income that is entirely consumed by expenses produces zero wealth. A moderate income that is consistently invested compounds into significant wealth over time. The person earning $200,000 and spending $200,000 is not wealthy. The person earning $60,000 and investing 20% of it is building wealth, slowly, without visible status markers, in a way that feels almost nothing like success. The confusion between income and wealth is partly cultural. We signal status through visible spending, not through net worth that nobody can see, and partly psychological. Earning feels like achievement. Accumulating feels like hoarding. Spending feels like living. The intelligent person has internalized the cultural messaging around what success looks like, and a savings rate that would actually build wealth feels, emotionally, like deprivation. So they earn impressively and accumulate very little, and from the outside, they look successful. From their bank account, the story is different. 5 reasons. One common thread. What connects analysis paralysis, the logic-behavior gap, lifestyle inflation, childhood money beliefs, and income-wealth confusion is a single underlying reality. The financial mind and the psychological mind are not separate systems. Every financial decision is also an emotional decision. Every money behavior is also a psychological behavior. And the psychological layer, the one shaped by early experience, by unconscious belief, by emotional association, operates at a level of the brain that knowledge alone cannot reach. This is not an argument against financial education. It's an argument for psychological honesty alongside it. Knowing about compound interest is useful. Knowing why you avoid looking at your bank account is more useful. Understanding asset allocation has value. Understanding why you spend more when you're stressed has more direct impact on your actual financial behavior. The most financially sophisticated thing an intelligent person can do is examine the psychological layer beneath their financial decisions, not instead of the knowledge, but in addition to it. Staying poor while being smart is almost never about a lack of information. It's about a set of psychological patterns that are older, deeper, and faster than any financial education you've received, patterns that were running before you understood what a savings account was, and that have been quietly overriding your best financial intentions ever since. Seeing them doesn't automatically change them, but it changes the relationship between you and them. And that relationship is where every financial decision actually gets made. The next video goes into one of the most painful patterns we haven't covered yet, the psychology of people who never feel like enough, regardless of what they achieve. If the pattern we talked about today recognized something in you, that recognition is the beginning of something useful. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.